What's up, y'all? It's your host today of Basketball Hot Takes Podcast, Colton Alexander. I don't ever go by that name. Forget that name. It's Cole Alexander, your host, also known as Focus Tricky 07 on YouTube and other platforms. Be sure you go check all of them out. But today, I got some very exciting news, and I just want to go ahead and tell y'all thank you and welcome to a new season of Basketball Hot Takes. We are now officially on season 2. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who shows support to this podcast or to me. Thank you. I love y'all. But I want to go ahead and get over with this introduction. I'm pretty happy to be back. So let's get right into this podcast. So we got for our intro, for our topics today, we have Lakers making future moves. We ask Eli, is Jimmy Butler a star? Linsanity making big headlines, and Jimmy Butler carries the heat again. And don't forget, at the end of every episode, we have our hot take. So be sure you stay at the end of the episode for that. Be sure you stay towards the end of the show for that, end of the episode, end of the podcast, whatever you want to call it. Just be sure you stay to the end, listen up. You know what I mean? Like the podcast, share it with other people. Boom, bang, let's go. All right, we got Lakers making future moves. The Los Angeles Lakers at the beginning of the season said they wanted to wait until the 20-game mark to make any trades. Well, now the timeline has changed, and they want to wait until December 15th to start making moves, and here's why. On December 15th, most players who signed a free agent contract, they can be traded. So if they sign it last season, they can be traded at December 15th. Most of them can, at least. And the Lakers, they're weighing 3 different trade possibilities right now. Which one of them do they take? Which one of them do they pursue? We don't know. I know there's 2 trade packages that I personally know of right now. They have the trade package with Russ and another player, and I think it was a pick. I believe it was a pick or something like that. It may have been no pick. I'm not sure. It was Russ and another random player. Then they had the 2 paired up of Nunn and Beverly because apparently they have not played to their expectation. So I would like to honestly seeing Russ ball out and seeing the Lakers go 9-2 lately. Like, Russ has been playing well. LeBron's been playing good. AD's been balling out of his mind. Like, they're playing like how they honestly need to, how they should have last year. Like, AD should have been that main guy. LeBron shouldn't be the dude trying to score every bucket. You know, like, I think AD needs to be that guy for them to win another championship. LeBron will have to show up in the playoffs, and he will have to be his normal self in the playoffs. But I really believe it's really up to AD being his MVP caliber self to be able to like push them over the top to where they need to be if they want to win another championship, at least with that team that they have going on. For us, I really like what they have going on right now, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, there's no way that you just can't put Russ in any freaking game. Like, yeah, I know the dude can't shoot threes consistently, but you should have good enough coaches to know how to fit your players. Like, it doesn't make sense to me how a lot of the blame gets pushed off on Russ just because he can't shoot a 3-point shot. A 3-point shot from Russ is not going to save that team, y'all. I don't care what you say. If that dude starts making 6 threes a game, that's not going to help them like y'all think. I just don't see that. Like, everyone's so 3 heavy. Like, yes, you shoot more threes, you're going to get more points. That makes sense. Duh. Telling you the 1-to-3 ratio, like, I know about that shit. Like, it's better to take 1 out of 3 shots from behind the arc than to take like 1 out of than it is to take like, I can't remember what the exact statistic is, man. I'm getting too technical right now for my first podcast back. I gotta let it be. But just know they have 3 different trade possibilities. The one with Russ I told you about, and another player. They have the Patrick Beverly and the Kendrick Nunn. The other one I personally don't know about. You could probably look it up on Google or something like that, see if they have it out there. But from what I've read, I do not see a third one. But we're going to go into this next topic so we're not too scatterbrained everywhere. I'm already messing up a lot from my first podcast day back. So let's go into the next one and hit a quick little reset with some orange juice. Not sponsored. Orange juice is just really good. Yeah, that was good. All right. Our next topic, we asked Eli, is Jimmy Butler a star? Y'all seen our past podcast, y'all know that we debate about this. It shouldn't be a debate, but we debate about this. Yeah. A couple days ago, we asked former co-host Eli a couple questions regarding the NBA season, and we got some good answers for you. Eli believes for someone to be a superstar, they have to be able to make a three-point shot. He also believes that Jimmy Butler is a all-star caliber player. I asked him if he'd make the all-star team. He said yes, he would definitely make the all-star team. I personally believe superstars are players like me, myself, and I personally believe superstars are players who can produce for you at a high, consistent level every night, even if they're having a bad night for you. They have to find ways to contribute in major ways on off days. And I want to ask y'all, what do you think makes a superstar in today's league? And if Jimmy Butler isn't a superstar, I want to know what would it take for him to become one? Like, honestly, that narrative with me and Eli really throws me off with, like, how do you honestly not think Jimmy Butler is a star? This dude played for your favorite team as well, so I know you have respect and love for him. I don't know if you have any secret hate for him or anything like that, but to say Jimmy Butler isn't a superstar, there's like so much proof that he is. Like, this dude shows up in the biggest games there is, the playoffs. What do they say superstars do? They come and show up in the playoffs. That's where stars were born. That is literally the biggest thing that everyone says. This is where stars are born. This is where stars are made. And Jimmy Butler became a star in the Lakers versus Heat finals. You can't tell me he didn't. Bubble or fucking not, they would have both been there. Bubble or not, they both would have been there. I hate the bubble narratives. Just think about it. No crowd means all you have to do is you're just literally dependent on your players. You're not dependent on your crowd to hype them up. You're dependent on coaching staff, everyone on that bench, and you're dependent on the players that are out on the court. You're not worried about fans yelling at you or anything like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I really did enjoy the NBA bubble season like that we had because no distractions. The biggest distraction was that they couldn't be with their family. And I just sit here and think, like, so many people say so many different stories on this would have happened if this would have happened. If there was never a bubble, the Lakers would have never won that. So this doesn't even count that they won. Like, yeah, they would have. Like, it took just pure skill in that NBA finals. There's no getting heated up from the fans, which takes a lot. Like, fans legit get in people's heads. Fans legit hype people up. Fans legit, there's a reason why you want fans in your stands whenever you're playing a home game. Because they do help. Like, they help a lot. They help so much. It's not even a freaking exaggeration. That's why I was sitting there thinking, like, there's legit no home court. Or, yeah, we was in Orlando. Guess what? You could say Miami had the home court advantage, but guess what? They still didn't. Just because they're in Florida doesn't mean anything. They could have been in fucking California, and guess what? They would have had like 4 different home courts then. Sacramento, Golden State, Clippers, and Lakers, right? It just doesn't, no. We're just going to leave it be. We ain't going to go too far into that. And we're going to say Lakers still would have won that championship. Eli, Jimmy Butler is a star. I don't know why someone has to shoot a 3-point shot or consistently make a 3-point shot to become a star. That's stupid. That's really stupid. Look at Giannis. I mean, shit, go back in the day. Almost every star barely shot a 3. Like, the dude that changed the era for that from the back in the day to this, I would say would honestly really be Kobe, because Kobe was like one of those guys that like was really, really good, and he shot a lot more threes than anyone from back in the day. So I'm not saying he was a better 3-point shooter than people from back in the day. I'm saying he's one of the guys that really started shooting it more, being like a Michael Jordan type player. Still, Dwayne Wade, bro, time out. Are you trying to tell me my favorite player of all time ain't a superstar? Because he is worse at shooting threes than Jimmy Butler. He literally is. And that's exactly what you're saying, bro. That is what you're saying. You told me that they can't be a star unless they can make a 3-point shot. So Dwayne Wade's not a star. You have so many stars that aren't stars now just because of that one thing. You have to shoot a 3-point shot. That don't make no sense to me. I need some backup behind that, Eli. You're gonna have to like back up with some good narratives of why they have to be able to shoot a three to be a star. And don't say you didn't say that, bro. It's on podcast. We can go back. We can go back. We talked about it. All right, let's go to this next one before I wrap up all the time that we have with one thing. Linsanity is making big headlines again. Linsanity, also known as Jeremy Lin, is making headlines around the world again, but not for his play on the court. Jeremy Lin plays for a Chinese team, and he was fined $1,400 US. It was like, I don't know their Chinese money, whatever you want to call it. Let's just avoid that, honestly. Jeremy Lin was fined $14,000 US for inappropriate COVID quarantine comments. China's government is trying to stop protests against anti-virus protests. My guess is they are trying to make an example out of one of the China's biggest names. And that's legit my guess because China still has a bunch of regulations and stuff going on from what I've seen and read, because I did have to look up a little bit after reading that because, I mean, they're fining him $14,000 because he said, no, that was something else. I actually don't know exactly what he said, but apparently he said something that the government didn't like because they're trying to crack down on protests. They don't want people protesting what is it called again? They don't want people doing a antivirus protest. So I'm taking a guess. What you do is you find a big NBA player who used to play in America. He has money, make headlines. I mean, I don't know what the China's government's thinking, honestly. I just know from what I read, they just don't want any protest with an anti-virus. So my guess is that like they'll do whatever they can that won't hurt their people to do that. If you get what I mean. Hard to talk. But for our final and last topic, before we get to our hot takes, so be sure you listen to the last 5 to 10 minutes of this podcast to be able to get there. You're literally right there. Thank you for staying here. Jimmy Butler carries the Heat again. Does he really, though? The Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics was a great game with Miami Heat winning in an overtime thriller. We had like Tyler Hero drop 26, 24, something around there. Bam with 28. I know Bam had 28. Bam's been playing great for us the past 4 games. He's averaging like 30.3 points per game. That's what we need from Bam. This game was big for Miami Heat as they just got their superstar player and Jimmy Butler back. Coach Spo admitted that he didn't run one single play for Jimmy until the third quarter. Think about that, y'all. This dude ended the game. How many? Jimmy ended the night with 25 points and 15 rebounds as the Heat won 120 to 116. How important is this win for the Heat? I'm going to be honest with you just real quick. Jimmy Butler's a dog. I watched that game personally with my own 2 eyes yesterday. You could tell he literally did not get a play, like ran for him to score until it was the third quarter, or even to make a play, honestly, to make an assist or anything like that. He was like an extra, like he played in that last game 7 games ago, whenever he was just extra on the floor. He was like an extra on the floor basically until the fourth quarter. Like literally the fourth quarter, dude just started getting the ball a lot, started taking a lot more shots. He started being more. He wanted the ball more at that moment. I really, really do think that this Miami Heat team is trying to put the ball in Kyle Lowry's hands, put the ball in Tyler Hero's hands, put the ball in Bam's hands, and just let them go to work and learn how to work with each other. Because Jimmy is a superstar. He's going to get you a bucket whenever the fuck he wants to go get a bucket, as you seen yesterday. Oh, my gosh. Literally, he would get these people switched to their post. As soon as he saw that he had a post up on, I think it was a point guard. It was Derek White. He had a post up on Derek White. As soon as he saw it, he literally took one dribble and just attacked it so hard, went up for a nice layup, finished the bucket, and got an and one. I'm pretty sure he got an and one on that play too. Like, Jimmy just doesn't hesitate. He realized he got the switch. He realized it was a smaller defender within like 0.5 of a seconds. And he went in there and he did his work. And he did the dirty work. Like, 15 rebounds too. Like, he literally was making his presence known on the offensive glass. That's how he got his first points, y'all, was by getting a offensive rebound and putting it back up. That dude was harassing the rebound side. He was literally playing like a power forward. Now that I think about it, he was playing like a power forward. But how important is this Heat win? I do think it is important, but I don't think it's so important that it's oh my gosh, if we lost, this would have completely derailed our team. Because the game, our last game, we just had a back-to-back with the Boston Celtics, actually. The Boston Celtics beat us the first time. We beat them the second time. The first time, though, we shouldn't even came close in that game, y'all. And whenever I tell you it was close, like way closer than what it should have been, it didn't make sense because we had a lot of people still out. And we've been having to play a 2-3 zone, which you play against really good offensive teams, they're going to exploit the hell out of that zone. Just to let you know, there's a reason why the Warriors are so good at it. There's a reason why the Celtics are so good at it. There's a reason why your great offensive teams are so good at beating this 2-3 zone. They have shooters around them. They have good offensive players, someone who can get to the middle and make a pass, stuff like that. We finally got to play man-to-man for the first time. Sorry, that came undone. We literally got to play man-to-man for the first time in like 7 games. I don't think we used 2-3 zone one time unless I literally was away from the computer, because we literally ran man-to-man straight up all day. Just let y'all know, whenever you run man-to-man, you get a lot more fouls. That's why we're running 2-3 zone. We only had 9 to 10 players available. We had to keep those players in. One foul's out. That's not very good. That means one player is playing like 30-something minutes, 40 minutes, really. It's just not okay. But this win being important for the Heat, yes and no. If they would have lost, it would have been a chip because Jimmy would have just came back and everything like that. You would have known you still had injuries, and you would have really been like, well, Jimmy just came back. Like, they're going to need time to mend back together. But that wasn't the case. So be happy that they got this win, honestly. Like, this is a very, very, very good sign for the Heat, honestly, because they've been like a stock, honestly, lately. They've just been kind of slowly just getting better. They make that drop, but then they just bounce back up. The dead cat bounce, if you guys know about that. That's a stock term. The dead cat bounce falls really hard, then it bounces back up for some reason. And that's what they did yesterday. They made a bounce. Happy for them. I hope this team keeps going in the right direction. Right now, I'm still not very confident. But after that game, it did give me a lot more confidence because the Celtics got better this year. And to see for 2 games in a row, we was there and we won one of them. I do not see why we could not go compete with them in the NBA Finals next year. Not in the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals again, just like last year. I don't see why we couldn't. This team, Miami Heat culture, not even just going to talk about Heat culture. We're going to talk about our players. We're going to talk about the coaching staff. They're all great. They work hard. We literally get people that work 110%. If you don't work 110%, you don't stick around. We don't even play you, bro. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't put in the hard ass work, we don't play you. That's how serious this team is. And I believe in them. And that's all I'm going to say. We're going to get to this hot take before I keep going on about this. I'm still going crazy in my mind. Do y'all think Jimmy Butler's a star? Be legit honest. A superstar. I'm sorry, but I think ever since the Timberwolves, he's been that guy. He had that last season with the Chicago Bulls where he balled out. He did amazing. He was finding himself as a scorer and everything like that. But the dude went to the Timberwolves and he just showed that he was that dude. Like, people need me. And I don't know. Let's just go. Hot take. We just talked about this. I didn't know this was a hot take, y'all. I don't prep everything. No COVID. No NBA bubble. Do the Lakers still win the championship? I'm going to let that one soak in for a second. Do they win the championship? What do y'all think? And sorry for looking over here a lot. Even though I know this is a podcast, y'all really worry about just being able to hear me. I've been looking at the screen, which has me on it. I'm used to talking to someone else, so I'm normally looking at the screen. That's why. I'm sorry. I'll try to look here. It's hard. But like I said, and I'll say it again, I know I hate that this is a hot take now because I did not know that this was the question. Very ironic. Yes, the Lakers would still win. I believe in that because, like I said, you had no fans, so it took a lot of just basketball skill. It took a lot of mind talk, or not even mind talk, shit talking in front of the other players. Like you couldn't just have fans sit there and do that for you. You couldn't have fans sit there and get in other people's heads for you. It had to be the players. They had to go up there and show up, and that's why I really like the bubble. I hate how much hate the bubble got because it showed the real talent and how many people can just get hyped up from the fans and stuff like that. I honestly think, I mean, I don't want to say that because I'd love to go to playoffs and stuff like that. I really do think though, like playoffs and stuff like that, there should be no fans in attendance. Like it makes the game a lot more intense. It makes it a lot more fun to watch because there's no elevating scale of, oh, these people have home court, so they have a way bigger advantage. Like people always talk about game sevens at home, game seven at home. That's so important. But during the bubble, it wasn't. We've seen game sevens, and that did not have an effect. People came in, no crowd was going to get to them. Nothing like that. And don't get me wrong, also on the flip side, I would hate this side of that because for that, it makes really good stories whenever you have a game seven at home. Next, they got to go in and they got to beat the team on the road against their team. Like, I'm telling you, if a team beat, I don't know. I really do think that the Lakers would still win the championship. I think it is inevitable that AD, whenever he joined the Lakers, that they just didn't win one championship. Like one is literally inevitable for them to on the same team. I'm sorry, but there's just no way there's no way he's not going without winning one championship with AD. That's just it's LeBron, guys. I mean, you can say all the hate you want to say, put all the stat hates, all the statistics out there and hate on them. People lose. That's all it is. People lose. Some people do it a lot more than others. Some people do it a lot less than others. But I think I'm going to end the podcast there. I think that hot take was very, that one could get people boiling. So, yeah. Just think I made y'all boil in the middle with talking about it in the middle, and I made y'all boil at the end, saying it at the end. So, y'all should love me right now. I'm going to get out of here, bro. It was fun having a podcast here with y'all again today. Thank y'all for coming to season 2, episode 1 of the podcast. We need to get some overlays up and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty dope. I think that's what we're going to work on next. Getting overlays up so that we can just feel more groovy, having just blurred behind me. Blur this, blur that. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. Y'all be safe. Peace.